What's up, Bills Mafia? I got 5 takeaways from the Buffalo Bills loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. But before we get to that, let's get to that intro.
This is PZ Music.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. Well, Bills Mafia, I got 5 takeaways from the Buffalo Bills loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 5 in London. And boy, oh boy, was that a nightmare in London. By the way, shout out to Bills Wire for creating this article. And I do have some takeaways of my own as well to add to this. All right, first up, jet lag. The Bills started out, well, very sluggish. Could that be jet lag? It's very possible. Don't expect Buffalo Bills head coach Sean McDermott or anyone else to blame the slow start on jet lag. However, it's going to be curious what the NFL does moving forward. For the first time, the Jaguars played in back-to-back games overseas. The Bills only just arrived on Friday. Some wondered if that would give Jacksonville an energy advantage. We'll have to see if the league changes their stance towards having the Jags play in London twice in a row. First of all, the NFL did the Buffalo Bills no justice by having them play a team that's in London already, that just played there the week before, rested, already used to the time change, already has their sleep. Everything's down for them, right? They already they have their bodies already adjusted to that time change. And the Buffalo Bills weren't, obviously. They got there Friday, and got to say too, Sean McDermott, trusting in his sports science team, that didn't work too well for you. That backfired. Getting there Friday was a mistake. Me and Mikey talked about this last week. We were kind of questioning why they would get there so late. But hey, I'm not a sports scientist guy, I'm not totally blaming McDermott on this, but for the future, just get there early. Get there early on in the week. I would have gotten there Tuesday, but getting there Friday was a bad mistake. You got there Friday, first of all. You got there Friday in the daytime. You did a walk-through practice, a light practice, so you didn't even get to practice. The players were super tired. They couldn't go to bed. They had to wait till night. Their bodies were all just thrown off. And then they had a game on Sunday. That was a mistake. I understand the sports science team made you feel like it was the right decision, but ultimately it was a bad decision. It was a really bad decision. And like I said, hopefully moving forward, the NFL makes it fair, because that was not fair for the Buffalo Bills. Now, am I saying this is the reason why the Buffalo Bills look like shit, played like shit, and lost that game? No, but it definitely is a factor. It plays a factor. Listen, anyone who travels overseas like that knows your body, you have to adjust to the time change. It's not easy. Your body shuts down. You're mentally shut down. It takes a few days to kind of get used to the time change. The Buffalo Bills did not have that. And the NFL did them no favor, like I said, by making it a disadvantage by playing another team that's already been there. I just don't feel. I feel like that's not right, man. But it is what it is. You got to go by what the NFL tells you to do. All right, next up, injuries adding up. The Bills officially have an injury crisis. Buffalo lost star cornerback Trey White to a season-ending Achilles injury last weekend. There's a chance to join him on the injury list. Defensive tackle Daquan Jones tore his pec. I think it's a torn pec. We'll see. We'll know today, guys. And linebacker Matt Milano knee, by the way, fractured his leg. Both left the contest. That latter might be more serious. Jones did not return to the game after being ruled doubtful to return. Milano caused more concern because he was carted off with an air cast, by the way. If those two are out for an extended period, Buffalo's defense could be in trouble. Bills Wire will provide updates when information is made available. So here's what I got on so far on Matt Milano, which is a fracture in his leg. He broke his leg. And they're going to do the test today to see if he also tore his ACL on his knee. If that's the case, bad news, bad news for the Buffalo Bills, for Matt Milano. Um, I'm already listen. He's out for the season. Now, Daquan Jones, let's just cross our fingers and hope it's not a tear. Though, even if it is, he still could return in a few months. But that's a huge loss. Daquan Jones is a hell of a player, guys. He was having a really good season. And once again, the injury bug has returned to the Buffalo Bills. What can you do? All right, next up. Is AJ Epinesa a stud? With all their injuries, the Bills needed someone to step up on defense. AJ Epinesa delivered. The Bills scored with less than 2 minutes left in the first half after playing poorly for most of the contest. But a Stephon Diggs touchdown put the score at 11-7. Right after, the Jaguars were driving and looking to add to their lead. But Epinesa had a strip sack of Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence. In addition to that one, Epinesa had multiple other big plays. He added a single game career high 3 passes batted. Keeping Epinesa and not trading him like Boogie Basham was dealt looks Boogie Basham dealt was looks like a smart idea. 100%. I told you guys I had a feeling Boogie was going to be traded. I knew they were going to keep AJ. I thought AJ did enough in training camp and preseason. I thought he took a step forward last year with the 6.5 sacks. It wasn't a giant step forward, but I thought he played much better last year. And this year, I think he's playing very good. And guys got to remember, he is on a contract year. So, of course, he wants to showcase everything because he's going to get paid somewhere. And if he keeps this up, he's definitely going to get paid. And I hope he does. Listen, I hope he does. And I hope he continues to ball out like this moving forward because we're going to need it. We don't know what's going on with Gregory Rousseau, guys. We have no idea. It could be a fractured foot. It could be a sprained foot. Either way, he may miss a week, 2, 3, could miss 4 weeks. So we need AJ Epinesa to step up like he did because Von Miller is going to be on a low snap count, guys. You saw it. I think he had 40 snap count, he said, against the Jaguars. I expect that to be a little bit higher against the Giants this week coming up. But until Von is full-time on a full-time snap count, AJ Epinesa has to step up, in place of Gregory Rousseau. So we shall see. All right, next up. Another sluggish run game. The Bills had another 100-yard receiving game against the Jaguars from Diggs. That's great. But for back-to-back games, Buffalo has failed to establish any sort of momentum on the ground against an opponent. It did not bite them against the Dolphins, but it didn't seem to help them versus the Jaguars. Josh Allen led Buffalo in rushing with 14 yards. James Cook started the season amongst the NFL's leader in rushing yards. That's long gone. He had -4 total. Damon Harris only had 14. Meanwhile, 136 total for Travis Etienne for the Jags didn't hurt Jacksonville's chances. I don't know what to think about James Cook at this point. And it's not all his fault. That's on Ken Dorsey as well. I think James Cook only had like 5 carries or 4 or 5 carries. But the carries he had, he just could not get going. It doesn't help that Josh Allen's not under center when handing the ball off to James Cook. That doesn't help either. Very disappointing that Ken Dorsey once again does not get Murray or Harris involved in the run game. I've said it since week freaking 1, man. Get Murray in there early. Let's break down their, the the defensive line, chip it away, and get James Cook going with the battered defensive line after Murray and Harris have used them up, right? And yet he goes away from it. He did it in week 2. It was beautiful to see. Murray got in there. I'm not saying give Murray 20 carries. Give him 6 carries, 7 carries. Get him in there early. Let him, he's a bruiser. What are you doing? James Cook that's not his game, guys. He's more of a finesse kind of player. He's not a bruiser like Murray and Harris. But if Murray and Harris get in there and soften up that defensive line, Cook can get going, because then the offensive line can start creating better holes for Cook, and Cook can get to break to the outside on a beaten up defensive line, defensive edges. There's a lot that goes to it, and he's just not. Dorsey's not helping out at all. But I do have concerns with Cook. I do. I don't think he'll ever be a workhorse running back. It's not what he was in Georgia, and he's not. I don't think that's what he's going to be in the NFL. I'm sorry. I like the guy. I do. But as a 3-down back, I don't think so. I don't think that's what he is, guys. Like I said, once again, I like him. He's fast. His vision's not bad. Though the last 2 weeks, he's struggling with that a little bit. But he's not a 3-down back. And until the Buffalo Bills get a three down back, a real workhorse running back, which, by the way, they're out there, guys. We just choose not to draft them. Then we will have this type of running game. But Ken Dorsey still has options. He still has 3 running backs to use, and he chooses not to. I think we ran the ball 7 times, 8 times in total against the Jaguars. That's wild. That is really wild. I'm not adding Josh Allen's runs. I'm adding in just Cook, Murray, and Harris. That's unacceptable. Your lead running back should have 12 to 15 carries. Your other running back should have, anywhere from 5 to 10. I'm serious about that, guys. That's atrocious. And we have a good offensive line now. We have a good offensive line that can run block. I don't understand. And that's the frustration right now with Ken Dorsey's play calling. I don't get it. 1 week I love it, 1 week I hate it. And it's just too inconsistent right now. All right, next up. It's a week-to-week league still. It is, without a doubt, still a week-to-week league. The Bills rolled 3 straight opponents. By no means are they dead in the water. But after feeling on top of the world when topping the Miami Dolphins, it's right back down to earth. Even despite the time difference, travel, and it being a home game for Buffalo and London, not much went right. They certainly did not play as the favorites. The Bills are going to have to deal with their newfound injury concerns and figure out what to do without White. The first showcase since his injury did not go well. And I agree. Listen, guys. I like Kyer Elam. I do. I really do. And I feel like, he hasn't gotten much of an opportunity, especially I felt like his first season, they didn't really use him a lot. And then going into this season, they didn't use him at all. He was a healthy scratch for the first 4 weeks. The only reason he saw him week 5 is because Christian Benford was injured. And then when we did see him yesterday, Sunday, it was bad. And maybe McDermott sees something we all don't. He is the head coach. He sees they have practices we don't see. Maybe Kyer Elam is not getting this defense down. Maybe the scheme is just it's just not for him. Or maybe he's just not a starting corner in the league. I don't know. But what I do know is he didn't look good yesterday. And by the way, neither did Dane Jackson. Dane Jackson was skating all over ice yesterday, and so was Kyer. They were getting beat on almost every play, it seemed like. We have a problem. We have a major concern at cornerback because I don't trust either one. Christian Benford, um, he's I like him. I do, and he has potential. He's played good, but he also has gotten beaten at times, right, this season. And he's injured right now. I don't know when Christian Benford will be back. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. Maybe this week he'll be back, maybe next week. We're very limited. By the way, Kyer Elam got benched late in the game for Ingram. Benched, first round pick. Brandon Beane has to make some calls. He won't, because I told you he doesn't trade for players. But it's a major mistake. I think it's a flaw in his in what he does as a GM. That's the only flaw. I love Brandon Beane, so don't come at me like Brandon, F you, you know what the hell you're talking about, Brandon Beane. I love Brandon Beane. I got his damn Brandon Beane t-shirt. I love him. Like, honestly, guys, I think he's done a phenomenal job. But like every GM, there's going to be some flaws. There's going to be some mistakes they make. No one's perfect. But he's stubborn. And he doesn't do trades often. And he doesn't do trade for players often. And the good GMs, some of the good GMs out there, they do. They know that sometimes you got to sacrifice a draft pick for a player that can help you, at a position you desperately need help in. And Brandon Beane continues to just avoid that. He wants to save and stockpile draft picks. I don't get it. You got 10 of them, I think 11 for next year. It's okay to get rid of a couple for a player that can help you. And I don't know, guys. It's super frustrating because right now I got two major concerns: corner and linebacker. Matt Milano's done for the season, guys. He's done. Okay, Dotson, I have no faith in. Zero faith in Dotson. None. And AJ Klein, no, I'm good. I've seen enough AJ Klein. Dorian Williams, he's interesting. He is. I like what I saw in preseason, but he's a rookie, guys. He's a rookie being lined up to a second-year player in Terrell Bernard, who, thank God, is working out. Thank God Terrell Bernard filled that position. He filled it very well. He's played very well this season. But we don't know how Dorian Williams and Terrell Bernard's going to pan out together. Man, maybe Beane calls up Christian Kirksey and maybe gets him out of retirement. It's possible. I wouldn't hate that. I really wouldn't hate that, because what other options are there right now? Unless you make a trade, there's nobody out in the free agency market right now that could come in and do any better than Dorian Williams. The only guy that I would trust is Kirksey, and he's retired. And like I said, unless Beane gets on the phone and says, "Yo, we really need you, bud. We really need you," and I would make that call ASAP and see what he says, because I don't trust, like I said, Dotson or AJ Klein. I'm sorry. And then as far as the cornerback goes, I'm very concerned. They signed Herb, whatever the hell his name is, to the practice squad. Never heard of the guy. That's the best you can get. Greedy Williams is out there. I mean, not saying he's like the best in the world, but he's better than the Herb guy. He may be better than Dane Jackson. There's also trades that could be made. Surtain from Denver. Just saying. Figure it out. But man, my other takeaway is Ken Dorsey. And listen, I've backed this guy last year. I was like one of his biggest supporters. I was one of his biggest supporters the year before he even became OC, because I knew he was going to be our next OC. And I was super excited for Ken Dorsey to get the opportunity to take over Brian Dable because I wasn't big on Brian Dable either. I thought Brian Dable made a ton of mistakes here. His in-game adjustments were awful, and I just feel like Ken Dorsey has just taken over that playbook and he dummied it down a little bit. Um, Creativity, zero, none. I really don't see much. Um, In-game adjustments, he's just the same as Dable. There's none. There's no in-game adjustments. Um, Stubborn as all hell, goes away from the running game way too early in games when he feels like it's not working, just totally goes away from it. Um, Knows that Josh Allen is really good under center with play action passes, handing off the ball to running backs. Like our running game gets going better under center. He sees that. Commentators see that. Bills Mafia sees that. And yet he chooses not to do it. Yet he chooses to go in shotgun draws, shotgun play action. Like, I don't understand it. You see the stats, how good Josh Allen is under center and play action, and yet he barely does it. Why? What is going on here? And that's the frustration that's building up with me and Ken Dorsey because I back this dude up. I can't do it anymore. It's driving me insane. I want to punch my TV, and I'm not because it's an 86-inch beautiful TV. But it's frustrating, guys. It really is. And that is why I'm concerned with Sean McDermott being a defensive coordinator, head coach, a defensive head coach, because he doesn't get the offensive side of things. If that was an offensive minded head coach, we may not have this issue. And we do because look, McDermott basically got rid of Frazier. Let's be real. And he took over defensive play calling, and he's done a really good job so far. But he's not going to take over offensive play calling because that's not what he does. So I don't know if this is, and by the way, you can't just let Dorsey go now. Can't do it. There's no magical OC waiting out there, right? You got to let it play out for the season. But if things don't improve for this offense and we again get booted out of the playoffs early, you got to make a change at OC. I'm sorry. You have to. You cannot keep this going. And go from there. It's just really, really frustrating to me with that when it comes to Ken Dorsey. And that's my takeaways, guys. So any other takeaway that you guys have, comment below. And Bills Mafia, I love you. Things will get better. I promise you. But Brandon Bean better be on that phone. Anyways, guys, love you. Bills Mafia, you rule. Anyways, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.